Kai shanes kedi vers.
Breu pani.
Sol til dan.
Te dan kusi matche.
Bareks.
Awa.
Biken dandlen.
Vikin damlen so.
Janareo kuchima.
Toisamas jaka kedi vers.
Jan luvina doi.
Awa. Tosta.
Matogen.
Sopenessa.
Matogen.
Kaha. Mato fef. Mato shantu. Piava me kekluina.
Kedi komt ut.
Kai di kan man.
Zo pone kuchima.
Bara khachana.
Madi godly mapenchi dineloshan. Die komt ut reo pone kuchima.
Penessa chachaben.
Het doi shanes ta rakaresa kurakli.
Bino rankan raklisas.
Hello, die pirani mino. Ma poker mande junava me.
Kamala me.
Jockey ai papale.
Rankan ironisi.
De mo abakai.
Joko bang.
Awa, pirata mui.
Maravat kan sig.
Awa, junava. Junava to men.
Kusko shantu.
Awa, stufi sava to men. Genau.
Kai so chaben.
Java diklas te. Reo staraben, besta kana sig.
Vesa tu mansa tai.
Wa me kek tu se.
Kai si moila.
Preodrom. Jota lalas kersig. U god si kai basabe. Akka bakai.
Puchtan lodaben.
Aku god ja manglas.
Dore. Puch puri gone.
Sitter puri gone.
Si man dosta pus.
Naileske.
Nailaske. No so karava.
Jota suta reu upuv. Kela tuke.
Jota chin kushi rania mange.
Na man ke churi.
So kadani churi eske.
Na se domlas.
No sat veles tu shero tai.
Awa. Itu ora dai jala dite.
Si man kuski ora tai.
Nai man kek. De manlas.
Wafet.
Awa. Wel.
Rapara sa ta baro dinala shama.
Dinla shan awa.
Jota ka aga musto vela.
Ginta plaste. Ditu gaje kai di kena tap tute.
Prasta mangara vela per palatote.
Dita hakkan saa kai dite. Di kena tap tute.
So kesar ami bangaski gaujente. Gini ame taplande.
Bisa vela man tapa drum kana si.
Tapa dam besa tuja tai.
Tu bara iva brin.
Lato kala muilesta.
Awa. Tu shanda va. Kitasta. Kitasta mari godly mapenchi.
Jota mang puri chiocha mangen.
Nai man kek. Lesa kala.
Wan nai man kek gad.
Ai dode. Lesa kava.
Awa.
Tad avalas kana si.
Tadala sa way kana.
Achi. No kek no.
Ta mang puri chiocha mangen.
Puchu gorja kai dala tut. Akka va kai. Kamla gorja.
Moko rai godja.
I asked him, had he been fishing today? And he said, yes. And I asked him, did you catch any? He said, yes. And I asked him, what did he do with them? He said he sold them. What did you do with the money? I've got them, he said. Don't you tell me that. You went to the White Lion, didn't you? No, he wouldn't. Oh, yes, you was. I seen you there. You went to the White Lion and you had some beer there, didn't you? Oh, no, no. And you got drunk there, didn't you? No, 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 I never go drunk. All right, didn't you go there to see that lady? Yes, of course I did. Didn't she a nice lady? Yes. Yes, well, you better go there again and spend more on her. She wants a lot of gin and that and so forth and this and that and the other. What did he want? I forget now. He wanted something. And I told him to go and look for it. And he said, well, go and fetch me a few sticks for me to make a fire. Go up the road and fetch them yourself. And he said, well, what do you do with the donkey? He said, oh, it's in the field. Well, you better go and fetch it. Go and fetch it yourself. Haven't you got an old shirt you'll give me? Oh, yes, I should have this in a minute. Oh, haven't you got an old coat you'll give me? Oh, yes, I'll give you this in a minute. Haven't you got an old pair of boots will you give me? I said, ask this gentleman here what's close by me. He might give you some. No, he said, that this gentleman was a bad one and you wouldn't give him none. Oh yes, I will. You ask him nicely and you talk nice to him. He'll give you something. No, 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 I'm going, he said. And off he went. I lost him.
Parts of clothing. The boots or the shoes.
Do you want me to ask me in Roman? Oh, Chiacha.
That's for shoes.
Shoes, yes, yes.
And what about your boots?
Well, it's the same. Exactly, Chiacha.
Now, stockings.
Chalava.
Trousers.
Buvjangere.
Shirt.
Gad.
Coat.
Chacha.
Collar.
Dikla. Dikla ko men. Men ko dikla.
What about handkerchief?
Dikla.
Tie.
No, men ko dikla, same.
It's all the same. The field.
Boop.
And the horse.
Grai.
A small horse or pony.
Bitte grai.
Donkey?
Moiler.
The wagon.
Verdo, aye, Verdo.
And the tent. The small tent.
Tent, I don't remember that.
But you sometimes call it stick and rags as a...
Stick and raggle, yes.
Well now, what about water?
Pani.
And tea?
Mutsumangri.
Beer?
Luvine.
Food?
Hoven.
Meat?
Mas.
Vegetables? Well, there isn't such a word, is there? But what about cabbage, say?
Shach.
And peas?
Penacha.
Hedgehogs?
Uchos.
Rabbits?
Shoshoi.
Dog?
Jukel.
Stick?
Kosht.
Yes?
Awa.
No?
Keker.
Good?
Kushte.
Bad?
Basavo.
Good day?
Kushkodivas.
Good evening?
It comes to the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Goodbye?
The same thing.
The policeman?
Muscrow.
Is there any other word for policeman?
Prastamangaro.
A bad fellow?
Basavo, more jolasa.
Mm-hmm. A man who is not one of the travelling people?
Gorgio.
A fellow like yourself, a travelling person?
Colo.
What about the numbers now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yak dui trin star punch. Bala Lake. I went from the White Lion Hotel Bala in a car up to the lake. And there was a gentleman with me, a friend of mine, I know him well. And we took a boat and we went out fishing. And I rode up till I came up opposite Llanecil. And I looked out from me like that, about 50 or 60 yards. I could see something white on the water. So I didn't take much notice, so I pulled on again. I turns my head presently, I saw this white thing again. Dash it all, I said, that's something very funny, I said. So I pulls on again until I come right opposite this white thing which was out in the lake, you see. And I said to myself, well, I'm going to see what that is. I pulls on a little bit again. So I said to this gentleman, I said, what do you think is that white paper over there on the water? Can you see it? Where's it? He said, Manfrey. He said, well, it is over there, I said. But, he said, that's nothing, only a bit of white paper, he said. I pulls on again. I throws the 2 oars in the boat like that, wound the 2 rods up, put them in the bottom of the boat, and I said, I'm going to see it if it's white paper, I said. And he laughed at me. So I went over. And I closed with the boat as close as possible up to it, going about a few yards from it. I could see a trout, but 4 pound weight, dead on his back like that. And he was on the surface of the water and I couldn't make it out. So I looked over like this And I waited a bit, I could see some long thing. And right across this trout's back was quite black, I couldn't make it out. Well, I saw a tail, I said to myself, I jumped to one of the rods and I snapped the bait off, and I took the treble hooks and I threw it over him like this, and I runned him, snatched him up like this, and I hooked him. I hooked the two. I had a bit of trouble with him, and I got the two in the boat. An old pike and a 4-pound trout right across his mouth, and he was fast in it, and he wouldn't loose it, not till I killed the pike. And when I killed the pike, I pulled the trout out of his mouth like this, and the trout was alive. It's very hard to believe, but it's quite true. And then we went another day, and it was showery. We was a long way up near in Llanuwchllyn then. And I said to this gentleman, I said, we better go in, sir, because we're going to have some rain. Tut, 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 tut. He said, there's rain? No, man, it's not rain. All right, stick it, sir, I said. If you want to get wet. Oh, no, 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 I don't want to get wet, he says. All right, we go in. I said, well, I'll pull in and you leave the line out, leave the live bait out, I said. So he pulled in and he pulled the line out. When I was drawing in, we left the live bait out a long way. So we went in, there were some trees here. We only just landed in, it came down like marbles. He said, how did you know, man? He said to me, it was going to rain. It was quite easy, I could see it coming. You're a funny one, he said to me. Yes, and I said to myself, you are funny too. So it stopped in. I turned my head up like this, round the corner, round the bay, top end. Like. I could see an old cormorant coming down. So we had a smoke and chat and talk, so I turned my head again and looked. I could see this cormorant coming nearer down again. So I told this gentleman, I said, back into the trees. He said, what's the matter? I said, you'll see in a minute, there's no cormorant here, don't make a noise. I said, come down, it come right down to us, I said. I never dreamt about the bait, you know. So he come at the point, like that. And down he goes. And the bait was over there, the float, you know. So, never saw a sight of him. I looked, couldn't see the float was disappeared. So I went there to the rod, and I just got a hold of it like this, just I felt a tug, and I hit him. I hooked something in any case, and I called this gentleman. I gave him the rod. So I said, don't you give him any slack line, I said, he's a good fish. Oh, he started to tremble, excited, you know. So winding in, you keep on winding and hold on him, the tackle is strong enough. But when he come about 3 or 4 yards to shore like this, 2 big wings came up like this, and And this gentleman threw the rod down. He said, my God, he said, up. And he ran away. He thought the devil was coming up. It's quite true. It's quite true. He made sure the devil was coming up. Well, you see, coming close to him like that, then with these two wings come up, you see, instead of a fish. Cormorant took the live bait.
Humphrey, tell us something now about what you do now.
Well, I'm down in a mansion now, about 4.5 miles from Bala. And I'm there I'm there 6 years. And I've got the river, the Dee River, plenty of salmon and trout in it. And I've got all the land, over 100 acres to shoot. I got pheasants, rabbits, buzzards, woodcocks, and snipe and partridge, and a great deal of snakes. And of course, I can do as I like. The place is my own, there's everything under my own hands. But I'll never do nothing wrong. I'll do my work, and that's all. And I go down every day by bus, and I come back 5 o'clock when it's dark by bus. And it's very good where I am without poachers, but when I went there first, there was a lot. And if I drop across them, if they'd happen to see me, I'd only want to lose a shot up in the air. You see them off. They wouldn't come nigh the place. They kept on like that for about a week or a fortnight or something like that. Then they found I was there every day. Cleared off. They didn't come there at all. And there was 3 from down in England somewhere, come fishing. I went down to the front, the front park. So I went down to them. There was 3 of them. I looked at them. Good day, I said. Good day, I said. Any sport? No, we haven't caught nothing yet. No. Yeah. Got a permit? No. You haven't got a permit? No, we have got no permit. We didn't know. We thought it was all right here, did you? Will thought, do I asked him? Thought, eh? You know very well you can't cross that field there that you're trespassing. You can't put your foot there without a permit. Do you know that? No, they didn't know it. Pack up and clear off as quick as you can. It wasn't 2 minutes and they were off and into the road. They had their car in the road, look. They were into the car and off they went. And there I left them.
And Nancy, tell me something about the people you heard play this particular tune now.
But I think I should begin with the Robertses that camped in our buildings years and years ago. And they played this Men of Harlech exactly as the old John Roberts, the old Roberts the harpist played it. And the Roberts and the Woods were mixed. Roberts married a Wood, and this was played for centuries, I believe, for about 200 years like this, just this way, shall I play?
It's an old Welsh song, Mochyn they call it, the Black Pig in English. There were John and Jane and Betsy eating buns and drinking whiskey, dancing jigs upon the fiddle, up the sides and down the middle. Was you ever see? Was you ever see? Was you ever see such a jolly time before? I was got a sister Bella, she was got an umbrella. She was think so much about it, she was never go without it. Was you ever see? Was you ever see? Was you ever see such a jolly time before? I was got a brother Joe, he was came from Calico. He was go to Chester College for to have a bit of knowledge. Was you ever see? Was you ever see? Was you ever see such a jolly time before? She was streak and strike and whistle, making noise like the devil. Davy Jones, a Pantycelyn, come to see the open rel. When was you ever see? Was you ever see? Was you ever see such a jolly time before? Ar y ffordd mynd i'r rythyn, fel ys i'r rhaid yn cweirio eithin, ys i wrth i peidio chwsi bod y gwarth a gwed y gwarthi. Was you ever see? Was you ever see? Was you ever see such a jolly time before?
I heard the Brixham hornpipe about 40 years ago, played on the harp by David Wood, one of the Wood's strolling musicians. And he had a family camping in our stackyard at home. And in this stackyard, when they had at meal times, they often ate hedgehogs. And many times I had a piece of hedgehog with him. And this is one of their favourites, an old tune called Wrexham Hornpipe.
Hafod mai hafod lon bod yn brom siwrne mi gafon o gan I can ag ystyn fai gysyn fe gon I dod I dynyrfan lle byddai tan y bore. Hafod delwi gog ni chan y llais y fran sydd amla a pham o'r uchel cwmffon fiwch fydd on o liwch a geir ag angwtherin yr un fath ryd yn las glangaia. Neidio soffan darin naid o lansam ffraid I Linden ac yna I ôl yr ailwaith I gansaw bonsa'n gosan ag yna I ôl y drodennau I ganol ceia corwen.
Well, the Gypsy's hornpipe was played by nearly all Welsh harpists for about 70 or 80 years, I'm sure. And the first one I heard played was a Reuben Roberts, a man that played in the streets. He died about 4 years ago and left a harp in his will to his young wife. He married a young wife. When he was 82, he married a girl of 20. And then he died 3 years ago and left his harp to his wife. And inside the harp, she found £100. What he'd collected in the streets in Ville and other places. And he was the first one I heard play this. It's called the Gypsy Hornpipe. Afterwards, called the Llanover Reel. It is not the Llanover Reel at all. It was taken to Llanover by one of the Woods, a Jeremiah Wood, that lived in Gogerddon Hall. And the harpist of Llanover Hall, Lady Llanover, learnt it, and they arranged a dance to it, and they called it the Llanover Reel. But truthfully, it's only the Gypsy Hornpipe with variation.
Plwy Penderyn. Rwy'n caru ferch o blwy Penderyn ac yna'i dilyn ys lawer dydd os gawswn ni charag un ferch arall, pan gwelais I coed a'i chryd. O ffarwel I ti o ffals dy galon, o ti di'r ferch ron ein garin driw, do ti bromisiais di fy mriodi, ond o cyn diwedd hyn o'r haf. O fyd i'r eglwys bore fore, o fyd cyn toriad gwawr o'r dydd. Fe ddoth i'r eglwys am a barall, ond o fe syrthiais ar y llawr. Ond yn y waith i'r clochydd fore, i'w thorri fy medd o dan rhyw. A thorri fenw sgraifenedig ar don o fôn y pren. Fy mod I ni sel iawn yn gorwedd mewn gwael o bedd o gariad gwen.
The name of the song that Harold's just sung now.
Merch o blwybre y Benderin. This is a translation, just a rough translation of it. I loved the girl from Penderyn, and I kept company for her for many a long day. I even loved the wood of her cradle. And I first saw her, first time I ever saw her. But I just say farewell now, you false heart, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
The one that I kept so, I used to keep, what could that be?
Cherish?
I cherish so much. And you promised to marry me before the end of the summer. Do come to the church with me tomorrow. But oh, what a pain to my heart. You went there with another boy. All I could do was to sit down, lay myself down. There will be another work for the ringer. What is it, Cachid? Who's that?
Bell ringer.
The ringer. There will be another work for the ringer tomorrow to dig my grave and to cut the name on the yew tree in the churchyard. That here, very deep in this grave, lies the body of one who broke his heart through courting Gwen. Something like that.
Doedd Simon cyn 5 munud gan gwaeddi nerth ag egg. Hey, how much you want for that old cow? Well, 14 pounds for that old thing. I'll only give you 10. With old Simon sold again. A Simon gydau fiwch oherwydd bod y wartheg eraill yn prisio uwch. Honno'n hen cymaras yn gyndyn iawn o'r llaeth. With old Simon etos posib cael dy waith.
Well, there was 3 men, an Englishman, a Scotchman, and an Irishman. And the 3 of them went out hunting. See? That goes a little bit of a song. Oh, 3 men went a hunting, and nothing could they find on a haystack in the field, my boys, and that they're left behind. The Englishman said, that's a haystack, Scotty is his name. Poor old Pat's sure and fair, that is an English church and the steeple blown away. 3 men went a-hunting and nothing could they find. Only a hedgehog in the field, my boys, and that they left behind. The Englishman said, that's a hedgehog, Scotty is his name. Poor old Pat said, sure and fair, that is a pincushion and the pin stuck in the wrong way. 3 men went a-hunting and nothing could they find. Only a monkey on a telegram pole and that they left behind. The Englishman said, that's a monkey, Scotty is his name. Poor old Pat said, sure and fair, that is your great-grandfather and his whiskers turning grey. Yn y gadlas efon had rhyw siarad digri rawn pan soniais am briodi. No, indeed you shall not marry Welsh, gan I cael digion had na throedd yng nghariad heibio.
Does is chai cross a dora taji bella re camora akurai vela doi buka das of a kai canadicantu canadicantu monkey bellu boro di vers. That's all of it.
And what does it mean?
Well, it's a gentleman and he's got a lady. This lady is living in a parlour, and this gentleman comes in and he calls her, come here. And she goes to him, and then he tells her something, and she starts to cry. And then he catches hold of her and pets her, takes her on the chair and brought her around. She starts to sing that with him, the same thing. And then everything came all right, sweet. They were quite friends after.
Well, I heard this old dance played by Llewellyn Roberts, a very, very old harpist, about 90. And I heard this about 40 years ago.
The man has made it, sold it. The man has bought it, didn't want it. The man has had it, knew nothing at all about it. Well, it's a coffin. Coffin. You see, the man that buys it, he doesn't want it. And the man has had it, he's dead, he knows nothing at all about it. See, the man has made it, sold it. The man has bought it, he didn't want it. And the man has had it, knew not all about it, he's dead.
Have you got another one, Mumfrey?
Living before, dead in the middle, body and soul behind. Nobody knows. Well, a man ploughing in a field. I went in the wood and I came through the wood. I took a load of wood home with me. I hadn't one stick straight, nor one crooked, nor one worth to put on the fire. And I took a load of wood home with me. What had I? Oh, well, it's a sack of sawdust. What'll go from me to London and his head down? No. Well, nails in your boots. On the water I travel, on a stick I stand. I rode the mare that never was foaled and held the bridle in my hand. Well, a ship, as I was going over London Bridge, I met a London scholar. He drew off his cap and drew off his gloves and tell me what was the name of the scholar. No? Well, I told you all his name. Andrew. As I went over London Bridge, I met a little boy weeping and crying. I asked him what was he weeping and crying for. He told me his father died 3 years before he was born. No. Well, his father dyed clothes. He was a dyer. What goes up and down and leave all his belly behind him? Anybody know? All shake their heads. Well, a needle and thread in it. Readless, I suppose. 40 eyes and never no nose. Well, I never saw such a thing in my life. Well, a thimble, isn't it? A thimble. Lady's thimble, what you're sewing with. All the holes is in it, isn't there? Well. Hickey-picky in the hedge, hickey-picky out of the hedge. You touch hickey-picky touch you. Give up, everybody give up. Well, it's a nettle, isn't it? Dalian poethiol. Nettle. What's first brought to the table, cut, but not eaten. No? Well, it's a deck of cards, isn't it? Patch upon a patch, and never a stitch in it. No, nothing doing. Well, it's a cabbage, isn't it? It's as round as a ball, it's as flat as a pan, shape of a woman, shape of a man. What's that? Well, it's a penny. Oh, a hedger, a ditcher, a cutter, a slainer, a little brown heifer, and never no horns. Well, it's a hare.